Look, if your hybrid suddenly won't start one cold morning, or that gas engine keeps kicking on when you swear it shouldn't, there's about a 90% chance it's one of the things on this list. I've been turning wrenches for over 15 years, and hybrids, they're walking into my shop more than ever. And 9 times out of 10, the problem is something the owner could have prevented in 30 seconds. If anyone had bothered to tell them, there's a hidden mode buried in your hybrid right now. The dealer charges around $400 to run it. You can do it yourself in your driveway for free in about 90 seconds. And that's just one of 17 tricks I'm about to show you. Now, before anyone in the comments loses their mind, most of these aren't actually illegal. They're just things your dealer would rather you never find out about, because every single one of them costs them money, some void warranties, some are reserved for technicians with scan tools, and a couple of them your manufacturer would prefer you stayed in the dark forever. We're going to count down from 17 all the way to number 1, and the last 3 are PHEV only tricks that are honestly the most warranty voiding of the bunch. Stay till the end, because number 1 alone could save you a $4,000 repair. Let's get into it. Number 17, the Eco Button Lie. Almost every hybrid has one, and almost every owner uses it wrong. Here's the truth, the Eco button doesn't actually make your car more efficient. What it does is dull your throttle response. The car responds slower, so you drive smoother. That's it. It's training wheels. If you already know how to drive a hybrid, light on the throttle, anticipate traffic, smooth inputs, leave Eco off, and you'll get better mileage with more responsive driving. Eco mode is for people who can't help stomping the pedal. Number 16, the hidden AEC Eco switch on Toyota hybrids. There's a button buried near your left knee, right under the steering wheel, that most Prius and Camry hybrid owners never notice in years of ownership. It's a separate AC economy mode that reduces compressor load. In summer, on long drives, this thing is worth real fuel economy. Pop your head down there and look. I guarantee a lot of you have been driving past free MPG. Number 15, the parking brake mistake. Most of you were taught to set the parking brake every time you park. Good habit on a regular car. On a hybrid, different story. Hybrids hold themselves on hills with what's called brake hold and creep prevention. The system electronically locks the wheels. When you habitually crank that electronic parking brake, especially on the CR-V hybrid and Accord hybrid, you're wearing out an actuator that costs $600 plus to replace. I had a regular customer last year. Nice guy, drove a 2020 CR-V hybrid, super conscientious. He'd had to replace that actuator twice in 80,000 miles because he was setting the e-brake every single time he stopped. Twice. That's $1,200 he didn't need to spend. On a hybrid, on level ground, just put it in park and walk away. Save the e-brake for actual hills. Number 14, coasting in neutral. This one drives me crazy. Old school drivers think shifting to N going downhill saves fuel. On a hybrid, you just disabled regenerative braking. You're literally throwing away free electricity that should be going back into the battery. And on long descents, it can overheat the transaxle because the system isn't routing energy the way it's supposed to. Leave it in drive. Let the Regan work. The car was engineered to coast. Let it. Number 13, your tire pressure is lying to you. Hybrid efficiency is wildly tire pressure sensitive, way more than a regular car. The number on your door sticker, that's a minimum, not an optimum, for low rolling resistance tires, which is what most hybrids come with. I usually run 2 to 3 PSI above the door sticker. You'll feel the ride get a touch firmer. You'll also pick up real, measurable MPG, just don't go crazy, and 3 above sticker max. Past that, you're hurting the tire. Number 12, and this is the one I see people mess up the most, the B button myth. Almost every hybrid owner who uses B mode is using it dead wrong. B does not stand for battery boost. It does not mean give me extra regen for daily driving. If you're driving in B mode on flat ground, around town you're actually wasting energy because the system fires the engine for compression braking. The B literally stands for brake. It's there for one specific scenario. Long, sustained downhills where the battery is already full and regen has nowhere to send the energy. Mountain driving, hauling something heavy down a grade. That's it. I had a customer 2 years ago, sweet retired lady with a Camry hybrid, drove the whole car in B mode for 2 years because someone at the dealership told her it was easier on the battery. Her MPG was about 15% lower than it should have been. Switched her back to D, never touched B again, problem solved. If you've been driving in B, switch to D today. And by the way, and if this video has already saved you money, hit that like button, it actually helps me out. Number 11 is one most owners have no idea about. Number 11, the cold start fuel waste. When you fire up a cold hybrid, that gas engine is going to run hard for the first 3 to 5 minutes no matter how lightly you press the pedal. That's because it's heating the catalytic converter to legal emissions temperature. Federal requirement, nothing you can do about it. But here's the kicker, if you sit there idling to warm it up, you double that fuel waste. Modern hybrids don't need warm-up time. Park, push start, and within 10 seconds, drive away gently. You'll cut your cold start fuel use in half. Over a year of cold mornings, that's real money. Number 10, the 30-second 12-volt battery test. I'm setting this up because we're coming back to it, but here's the quick version. The 12-volt battery in your hybrid is the number one reason these cars end up on a flatbed. Around 80% of hybrid no-start calls are the 12-volt, not the big expensive hybrid pack. Quick test, takes 30 seconds. Car off, turn the headlights on, watch them for a minute. If they noticeably dim while you're standing there, your 12 volts is on the way out. We're going to come back to the full save your life version of this at number 2. Number 9, and this is the one most mechanics don't even tell you about. Manual battery cooling. Your hybrid's traction battery has an air intake vent. On most Priuses and Camry hybrids, it's under or behind the rear seat. On RAV4 hybrids and CRV hybrids, it's usually in the side panel of the cargo area. That vent pulls cabin air to keep the battery cool. And it gets clogged. Dust, food crumbs, pet hair, you name it. A clogged vent means your battery runs hotter, and heat is the number one killer of hybrid batteries. Last month, a guy came into my shop with a 2014 Prius. Said he'd already replaced the hybrid battery once at 60,000 miles, and now the new one was acting up at 40,000. We pulled the rear seat. The intake vent was packed solid with dog hair. He had a golden retriever that rode in the back every day. Vacuumed it out, that battery's still fine 2 years later. Take 5 minutes, find your vent, vacuum it. Do it every 6 months. Number 8, the EV-only throttle override. This is the trick the Prius Hypermilers use, and it works on basically every Toyota hybrid that doesn't have a dedicated EV button. Your car's computer is programmed to fire the gas engine when throttle input crosses a specific threshold, usually around 30 to 40% pedal depending on the model. Stay below that threshold on a charged battery, and you can drive a mile, sometimes 2, completely electric. No gas. The trick is feathering, barely their throttle pressure, almost like you're trying not to spill a coffee on the dash. I had a customer who pulled over 70 miles per gallon out of a stock 2016 Prius using nothing but this technique. Stock car, no mods, just throttle discipline. It takes practice, but once you feel that threshold, you'll never lose it. Number 7, and this one's going to sound counterintuitive, drive your hybrid hard once a week. I see so many hybrid owners baby these cars. 40 miles per hour everywhere, never above 2,000 RPM, treating it like it's made of glass. Here's what that does. Carbon buildup on the intake valves, oil dilution because the engine never gets hot enough to burn off moisture, and a clogged EGR system. I've seen babied hybrids come in at 80,000 miles needing a $1,500 carbon clean and an $800 EGR replacement. Once a week, get on the highway, let it hit. Highway RPM for 20 minutes. The engine needs heat cycles to clean itself out. It's literally how it was designed. Number 6, the regenerative braking technique most owners get completely backwards. When you slam the brakes, you engage friction brakes, the actual pads and rotors. No energy is recovered, 0. When you coast and apply light, smooth pressure, you maximize regen. Energy goes back into the battery. The trick is reading traffic 5 seconds ahead. See a red light. Lift off the throttle a quarter mile early, light brake pressure all the way in. I've got a customer with a 2014 Camry hybrid running the original brake pads at 163,000 miles. Original pads, because he learned to drive the Regan. Most hybrid owners burn through pads at 60,000 because they brake like they're driving a regular car. Master this and you'll never buy a brake job again. Real quick, if you've made it this far, do me a favor and hit subscribe. The next 5 are the ones the dealer really doesn't want you watching. Number 5, the hidden diagnostic menu. Most Toyota hybrids and some Hondas have a built-in dashboard test mode that nobody tells you about. It's a button combination, varies by year and model. You'll need to look up the exact sequence for yours. Search your model hybrid dashboard test mode. And what it does is show you individual battery block voltages, coolant temperatures, hybrid system parameters that no scan tool at the parts store can read. This is technician level data accessible from your driver's seat for free. You can spot a single failing battery cell months before any check engine light comes on. Months. Knowing that early lets you replace one cell for a few $100 instead of the whole pack for thousands. Number 4, and this one's for plug-in hybrid owners specifically, cabin preconditioning while plugged in. Most PHEV owners either don't know this exists or they're doing it wrong. When your car is plugged into the wall, you can heat or cool the cabin before you leave, and that energy comes from your house, not your battery. In winter, this is a 10 to 15% range gain, sometimes more. Why? Because warming a freezing cold cabin from a freezing cold battery is the single biggest range killer in cold weather. If the cabin's already warm when you unplug, you're starting your trip with a full battery instead of one that's been drained by the heater. On a Prius Prime or RAV4 Prime, it's in the climate menu, scheduled departure. On Ford PHEVs, it's the Ford Pass app. Set it once, use it every day. Free range every winter. Number 3, and this is the big one I teased at the beginning, the forced Regan procedure. Hybrid batteries develop something kind of like memory over time. Weak cells drag down the strong ones, and the whole pack starts losing capacity. Dealers run a procedure called battery reconditioning. They hook up a scan tool, force a deep discharge and recharge cycle, and rebalance the pack. They charge $300 to $500 for it. Here's what they don't tell you. There's a manual driving pattern that does almost the same thing. The general approach is running the battery state of charge to its low end through gentle EV mode driving, then doing a sustained moderate load highway drive to fully charge it back up. Repeated over a couple of days. I had a regular client whose 2012 Prius was throwing weak battery warnings. Dealer quoted $2,800 for a new pack. We did this procedure over a weekend. Codes cleared, pack rebalanced, ran another 2 years before he traded it in. Now, big warning. If your battery is already deeply failing, this procedure can push it over the edge. That's the illegal part. Dealers don't want liability. Do this on a healthy or mildly weak battery, not a dying one. Number 2, the 12-volt trick that saves about 90% of hybrid owners from ever calling a tow truck. We touched on this at number 10. Here's the full version. First, the 3-year rule. Hybrid 12-volt batteries typically die at 3 to 4 years, regardless of how the car looks or feels. The dealer will never proactively warn you. Mark it on your calendar. 3 years from your purchase date, replace it. Second, the AGM upgrade. Most hybrids accept an AGM-style 12-volt battery instead of the standard one. Costs maybe $30 more, lasts almost twice as long. Third, and this is the one that catches everyone. Parasitic drain. I had a regular customer, nice retired guy with a RAV4 hybrid who got towed 3 different times in 2 years for won't start. Dealer kept replacing the 12 volts. Kept happening. He brought it to me. Took 20 minutes with a clamp meter to find it. His aftermarket dash cam was draining the battery overnight, slowly, every single night. Pulled the dash cam fuse. Problem gone. If your hybrid is killing 12-volt batteries faster than every 3 years, you have a parasitic drain. Don't keep replacing batteries. Find the drain. And number 1, the single biggest dollar saver on this entire list. Hybrid battery lifespan. People think hybrid batteries die of age. They don't. They die of heat, and they die of charge extremes. 3 things will take your battery from a 100,000 mile lifespan to over 200,000. 1, park in shade or a garage whenever you can. Heat is the number 1 killer. 2, never let the car sit at completely full or completely empty for more than a couple of days. If you're going on vacation, leave it around half charge for a PHEV. 3, and if the car is going to sit, drive it at least once a month for a solid 20 minutes. I've got 2 customers I always think about with this one. First guy, 2008 Prius, drives every day, garaged at night, 280,000 miles, original hybrid battery, still going. Second guy, bought a brand new Prius in Phoenix, parked it outside in a work parking lot every day. Battery died at 90,000 miles. Same car, different lifespan. The difference was heat and discipline. We're talking a $4,000 replacement versus 0. That's the math. That's why it's it's number 1. Alright, that's 17. Out of all of these, which one shocked you the most? Drop the number in the comments. I read them, and honestly, the comments on these videos are where I find out which tricks people had no idea about. If you got real value out of this, hit subscribe. I put out mechanic grade hybrid and car content every week, and the next video I'm working on is the 7 hybrid repairs dealers will try to charge you over $1,000 for. That actually cost almost nothing. You're going to want to see that one. And one last thing, that number 1 trick I just showed you, there's a version of it for plug-in hybrids that's even more powerful and saves even more money. I'll cover it in the next video. See you there.